Clearly, nobody skipped leg day in this movie. Not a one. Maze Runner Scorch Trails. So the Maze Runner Scorch Trails is the second movie in the Maze Runner trilogy. A direct sequel from the original Maze Runner that came out last year, and this movie is a good movie. Is actually a very enjoyable movie. It's a decently enjoyable movie for the second book and the second movie in this trilogy that is the Maze Runner. A lot of people run this movie, and a lot of people die in this movie. That's how it goes down in the Scorch. I will admit that there are a lot of things in the movie that I'm going to say are very familiar because I said we had Hunger Games, Catch a Fire, we've had Insurgents, we've had these other movies that come out that are based off of books, and this movie almost feels like it's kind of one of the many now. It doesn't feel unique, but at the same time, it's still a good movie. So let's get into the pros and cons of why I believe that. This weekend, The Maze Runner is out. If you haven't seen Black Mass yet, watch Black Mass and watch this movie. Here's why. First of all, the acting in the movie is pretty much the same as the first movie, so let's just port the acting from that movie and put it in this movie, and it's pretty decently good. We still got Tom, who I call Male Katniss Everdeen. He's still good in the movie. He's still, you know, running and shit, because that's what he does. He runs all the time. He runs. Him and his crew were all back in this movie with a few new people, and they were acting just as good as the last movie, so there you go. There are a few actors in the movie who I'm not going to name that are in the movie that surprised me, like, oh, that person's in there, so they bring their acting stardom to this flick. Plot in the movie is pretty much simple. The plot in the movie picks up immediately right after the last movie left off, after they killed my man Chuck. Damn, they killed Chuck. So, on Tom and his whole crew are being captured by Wicket and everything. They go to this safe haven. Everything's supposed to be safe, right? It's all safe. Until eventually we realize that, yeah, this place is not safe. So now we gotta go out there. We gotta escape this hellhole. Pretty much away from the frying pan and go into the oven. Because going outside, that's where the Scorch is at. Yeah, if you know what the Scorch is, I'll pretty much sum it up to you. Pretty much, I don't know what happened to the world, but it just got hit by fucking solar flares and shit, and bad things happen. Pretty much apocalypse. And pretty much the world from Mad Max. That's what the Scorch is. That's what the world looks like now because of the Scorch. And they gotta survive that shit. Matter of fact, there's a line in the movie where it's just like, the maze was one thing, but you'll never survive the Scorch. You wouldn't last one day in the Scorch. So while they're in the Scorch and everything, they pretty much have to find this resistance group that's out there. We don't know if it's really out there or not. You gotta watch the movie to find out, but they gotta find this resistance group, and yeah, they gotta team up with them to take out Madam President Dick. Yeah, pretty much President Snow's wife from the Hunger Games. It's her. There you go. Action in the movie also pretty decently done too. The action scenes in the movie straight up reminded me of The Last of Us. It's like straight up. I'm not gonna get into too much detail, but the action is pretty good. When things are happening, there are a lot of tense moments. They're like, okay, it's getting tense, and it's really good. If there's any cons I gotta say about the movie, more or less, is that, like I said, the movie does feel like one of the many, because the movie pretty much made me feel like I was watching Catching Fire again from the Hunger Games. Almost the same premise, more or less. It's the Maze Runner skin. That's not a bad thing, but the movie, it does make for the movie to be very familiar to you. I enjoyed the first Maze Runner movie more than this one, more or less. It was still a good movie, but I enjoyed the first one more because it just had that magic. It had that magic. This movie, while it was still good, it just felt really familiar because we know the formula that goes into the second movie, but off the second book in the trilogy. The second movie has like the same formula. Editing in the movie was kind of weird at some parts. Like, there was a point in the movie where they were like in the Scorch in the desert and shit, and they're just like, you know what? We need to find some shelter. We need to find shelter. Admittedly, next scene, they're like in a warehouse somewhere. They found shelter. It kind of makes you just be like, whoa, how did they find that? How did they get there that fast? Did they just instantly warp there? Did they just teleport there? Spock pretty much beamed them over there, just put them right there in the next scene? I don't get it. In the day, the Maze Runner Scorch Trial is a decent enough fall movie. I think you will enjoy it. If you read the book, I'm pretty sure this movie just does the book justice. I didn't read the book, but I'm pretty sure this movie is just like the book. Probably not. Acting in the movie is what you expect it to be. Still pretty enough decent. Action in the movie was pretty good. Reminded me straight up of Last of Us. Trust me, it reminded me straight up of Last of Us. At the end of the day, guys, I will say that the Maze Runner Scorch Trial gets a 7 out of 10, which is worth seeing at matinee. I didn't give it a high rating as I did the first Maze Runner movie, but it's still a decent enough movie to go check it out. Check out the Maze Runner Scorch Trial. Check it out. If you did see it, whatever you think, put in the comments section. Let me know what you thought about the Maze Runner Scorch Trial. Remember, guys, subscribe. Until next time.
Here they come.